Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, I'm Joey.
Hey, everybody, I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
Would you like to do the rest of the kickoff?
We don't know who's on this. This is a roulette episode. That's what you should do. Why don't you do that? We don't know who's on this episode.
There's going to be some guest later in the episode. We're not exactly sure who yet it will be. But, by the time it releases, we will know. But it's just at the time of recording this little intro part.
Don't know.
We've grown up considerably because
we are stacked.
We now do podcasts like real podcasters do them, where we have interviews and conversations with people, and then we do the intros and the lead-ins and at a later time. But that's just the way this is. I don't know if I've said it yet, but this is going to be episode 246.
Or 47.
If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bikepacking, bike camping. We talk to really cool bike industry personalities, and we just play bikes.
Yeah.
Before we get to the rest of the program, though, remember to go over to the show notes. We've got some great discount codes over there. There are the links and the codes. Go check them out. Joey, how are you doing this week?
Eating the biscuit.
We had biscuits, so thank you so much for dinner tonight. It was delicious. Had a roast beef in the slow cooker.
Yeah, it was a pot roast.
Pot roast in the cooker with carrots and potatoes.
They get the onions and everything in there,
and biscuits, and oh my goodness, it was just so very good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Pot roast crock pot stuff scares me.
Why?
Because sometimes it gets really bland. That was really good.
That was really tasty.
It's like I had to do an hour of work this morning for like no work tonight versus usually it's an hour work at home. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, well, it turned out really well.
And we got the biscuits.
Joe, I've been playing with my bike cockpit setup.
Have you?
I think I have finally got a scenario that works for me on the work. Because I put the Rootworks bag back on for our Florida trip, and I kept my Garmin and my little flashy bike light on top of the Rootworks. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have access to my phone, which is what I like particularly on when you go on a trip, when you don't know where you're going. So you can see your routes and you can kind of stay
That's
in
primarily why you keep your phone up there. And then during the trip, you didn't have your phone up there.
I know, and it drove me crazy. It drove me absolutely bonkers. So I'm back to the Rootworks with the Garmin mount for the light and the computer. And now I have got a quad lock that is sort of like on a Garmin mount, like an out front Garmin mount, that I have reversed. And so I keep my phone is now mounted on that reversed quad lock mount over top of the stem.
Yep.
And I have when I'm not running the Rootworks bag, I have the out front mount from Rootworks, which has the ability to put that Garmin and light mount, that combo right on that thing. So now I have, if I'm running the Rootworks bag, it's the setup, it's the same setup. Anyway, I'm very excited that I've stumbled upon a combination that works, because I was driving me crazy not having my phone out there, especially in Florida. And I can still fit a feed bag to the left-hand side of my stem, which I like having the feed bag. When
the feed bag,
even running the Rootworks bag, the feed bag is nice because it's a very handy water bottle, or like I used it in Florida just to carry extra stuff. It was a convenient place to put things like food, although with the Rootworks bag, I think most of it ended up there. It's just an extra little pocket.
I used it for water bottle storage in Florida.
Yeah. Well, now that I have those new Camelback Podium stainless steel bottles, which those things are very nice. Very nice. I was worried that they were going to get kind of like scuffed up in the titanium cage mounts, the bottle cages. Not at all.
Nope.
I'm sure eventually there will be some.
Well, water bottles don't.
Yeah.
The plastic bottles get scuffed.
Plastic bottles get really scuffed. They don't get as scuffed in the titanium cages as they do.
No, that does better than the plastic cage.
Yeah. But I was worried, like the first shot out of it, they were just going to be scuffed. Now the only downside, and I talked to you about this, that I have discovered so far with those bottles is the bottles hold 14 ounces of liquid, and a normal plastic water bottle holds 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit less water, and especially if one of the advantages of that stainless bottle with the insulated walls is if you want to throw some ice in there to keep something cold, the ice is going to then
It's not going to melt.
it's
Then it's not going to turn into liquid.
exactly. And so there's a little bit of an issue with that. I know they make.
So Brian's going to buy the 2 bigger ones too and have 4.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I might buy one of the bigger ones.
$100 worth of bottles.
I might buy one of the bigger ones and keep that on the down tube, then keep one bottle on the. Yeah, I might buy one of them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise to see one of those come back to me in the fold, and then I could always put the smaller one for trips on the down tube or in the feed bag. So, but that is a very minor complaint. I mean, honestly, where around here am I not having someplace where I can just manage my water and get some more of it along the way?
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. But they do look really nice on the bike.
They look really good on your bike.
I posted a picture on Instagram of them, and I had just freshly washed the bike because it was a salt day. Beginning of the week, I went out for a ride, and there was still salt on the roads. And so, did my duty, got home, put the bike immediately on the stand, still in my kit. It was that really warm day, and just took the bike and just hosed it down, left the bottles in there. And that was when I noticed that they didn't scuff at all. It was just really nice. They fit a little. I think folks probably will find that they fit a little bit better in some of the carbon or some of the plastic water bottle cages as opposed to the titanium ones, because it's not coming out.
Shoot out, yeah. That's
It
a nice
is
thing.
not coming out, but it can be a little bit more difficult to pull them out.
Well, you need a feed bag. So you put one of your bottles up there.
Put one of the bottles in the feed bag, and then if I got a larger one, there's lots of ways.
3 with a feed bag.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to play with it, and carrying a lot of water is something that occasionally you need to do.
Just money. You can buy more bottle.
I've been looking for some more packable footwear for bike packing. I'm still struggling with.
Isn't that like the thing that everyone's trying to figure out still?
I believe so.
I saw multiple variants at the Florida trip. I know people like Dustin Klein's talked about it. I don't know what to take. Like Chacos are a perfect camp shoe, but they're so bulky.
Well, I'm looking at a company called Zero with an X. It's XERO. They make a Zero. It's like a Chaco. It's just the straps and a very thin bottom. I don't like the shoes, the sandals that go between your toes.
Those are nasty.
The ones that go between your toes.
There's that feeling.
Yeah. I can't do that. And eventually it's going to like put a thing in. And then if you want to put socks on, but these Zeros are like Chacos where your whole foot. I think a nice thick pair of wool socks might actually do the trick. You looking at them now?
Yeah. Well, in Florida, I did Chacos with wool ridge supplies.
Yeah, but I mean, even with wool socks, you could pull these things off in the winter as long as it's not wet.
Yeah.
If it's wet, but they would pack very flat.
Hey, they got one just for your big toe. Like literally, it's just like a loop.
Yeah. It's just a loop that goes over the top and then across the back, and then a Velcro piece that wraps around your ankle. And I might give them a try.
Yeah,
I might give them a try. I'm still struggling with that. The other alternative that I've been thinking about is looking for a more walkable SPD shoe that looks a little more like a normal shoe.
Those exist.
You get the vibe, and I've seen them.
Yeah, but it's nice getting out of your cycling shoes. That's my problem.
Yes.
So, because I was going to I had those Shimano GX8s. They're very, very nice shoes. It's one of their nicer flat style lace up, look normal. To Florida and just not take Chacos or my cycling shoes. But then I thought it'd be nice to get on my shoes after 70-mile days.
Crocs are just they're light, but they're bulky.
Yeah.
And These things look like you could put two of them together, lay them flat with those straps, and then actually just wrap them underneath. You could stick them probably almost anywhere. Wouldn't have to go in a bag. And I think with a pair of like nice thick wool socks in the winter, it would even be okay. You're not going to be out in really, really horrific weather. I'm particularly starting to think now about gear that would be Great Divide worthy or really baby stepping into it for this year, Trans Virginia worthy, and then thinking about something that's also Great Divide worthy. I'd rather buy a quality piece of gear or equipment once that's going to last than buy something cheap off of Amazon that doesn't. So there's lots of knockoffs on Amazon for all these things. I'm not comfortable enough.
See if the knockoff works.
You could actually approach it to say find the same style in the knockoff before you invest the money in, because you can get that same style of sandal on Amazon in a knockoff for about $30, and these are running about 80 to 90 for the ones that. And who knows if the quality could actually be the same. I don't know. But I think you're right. I think the struggle is real, and I think a lot of people have tried to figure out how to make something work. I don't know.
These are thin. I'll say the nice thing I was telling you, the chacos I do have are like a fraction of the thickness of normal. The normal chacos are so thick.
Well, these things only weigh.
These things are like 5 millimeters thick.
Yeah, these things only weigh. I tried the neoprene sock with the rubber.
Oh, someone had that at the fire, and it was burning.
Yeah. I tried them, and I still have a pair from them. I almost brought them with me to Florida, but by the time I kind of folded them up, they were almost as bulky as the little canvas Crocs that I ended up bringing.
Yeah.
So
you had like Sanooks, didn't you?
Yeah. They were Crocs, but it was the same kind of thing. And they worked okay. They're also, though, if the canvas gets wet, it stays wet. And anytime you're, in the morning, you're on grass with dew. Mm-hmm. I think like a sandal like this that could get wet and literally be dry within a half an hour.
Yeah,
is probably. It also would work as a water shoe. I think you could actually walk in the water with these things without too much problem. They're actually sold as running sandals, believe it or not.
Oh, for the hippies.
The Z Trail EV is the one I'm looking at from Zero Shoes. It's billed as a trail hiking, running, and recovery sandal.
Nice.
Lightweight, and they don't. I was trying to find. I thought for sure they had some sort of description on them that showed how much they weigh, but they can't be more than, between the pair of them, 10, 14 ounces maybe between the two. But the real feature that draws me to them is the fact that they could be so flat when you're strapping them to a bag that you don't have to worry.
You can sandwich them together for nothing.
This says the sole on the Z Trail EV is 11 millimeters. Oh, and they're 5.4 ounces each. So that is under 11 ounces for a pair of shoes. That's pretty doggone good. So I think that's what I'm going to give a shot. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the trigger on those and give it a try. That'll be my sandals for the season. Give it a shot. See how it works. I don't know. Joey, I had a very short run of acrylic pavement ends pins.
Oh, yeah?
You got one. I think I handed them out at our ride on Sunday.
There's like 4 left now. Jack took them all.
Nope. I had like 50 of them.
I'm just kidding.
It's one of those sticker mule, kind of like,
oh, yeah.
It was, get them for real cheap kind of thing. But these are going to be in-person handouts only.
I've never seen an acrylic pin until these either. They're really cool.
It's thick, and it's got the push pin
nice
back.
Little button on the back.
Uh-huh. I can imagine some of them that were in the bag, the little pin part came off. But I think a little drop of crazy glue will put that right back in order or something. I don't know what I'll put on there, but I'll fix those. But here's how you get one. You have to find two of us. Both of us have to be together, and you have to touch Joey and then ask me for a pin.
It's not a bad gig.
It's not a bad gig if you
I don't have any responsibilities for that.
Well, I mean, Yeah, there's no real responsibilities beyond the risk of inappropriate touching. But the grin on your face says it all. The grin on your face says it all. There is still time to jump in on Patreon in time for the February sticker drop.
Yep.
That is going to be the gravel whoopie pie. I'm very excited about that. They're in the wild now in a few places, and like on the back of my computer, you can see them in the back of the. You put one on the back of the shop computer.
I've been putting them on the shop computer because that's where everyone's. I know the shop computer angle's down a little bit, but everyone's in my stores.
They stand right there.
They stand right in front of it, so they stare at it. They're like, "It's cool," and be like, "Give me $100 and you can have one." Patreon.
the monitor or the sticker.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you like. Hey, you know what? I'm not above selling equipment out of the place that I work. That's fine. So there is still time. Like I said, jump in on Patreon in time for that February sticker drop. You'll get them in the mail. If you're a Patreon member and you're not receiving your stickers, it may be because I have a bad address. So let me know. I had to update a couple of addresses in the last one. And if they do come back, what I'm doing is I'm bundling them all together for the next time. So you won't be out the stickers, but I knew eventually at some point need your correct mailing address. Make that happen. Gravel weekends coming up in Pennsylvania. We've got some exciting news revolving around that. The first weekend is now, drum roll please, going to be
sold out.
Nope, I wish. Is going to be a women's only event. So, been talking with Alex.
Now that one lady on Facebook better buy a spot.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm just kidding. There was somebody who asked if we thought about doing it.
We got a women's only.
So it is going to be women's only. I'm very excited about that. I've been talking with Alex over at Dirty Kitten.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Chris are going to come for that weekend. Now,
Chris gets to go.
Chris is going to come, and Alex is going to be there. And it's not a Dirty Kitten event. It's still a Mid-Atlantic GTD gravel weekend, and we're still running it.
Good collab.
But it's a good collab. Yeah, that's how you say that. Is that how the Instagram influencers say these things?
Well, when you can collab accounts.
Collab.
Yeah.
We're going to collab.
Collab
or collab?
Collab, Rodeo Labs.
Yeah. And I'm excited about that. I
am too. It's a whole different element to it. That's kind of.
I think so. And talking with Alex, we talked at length about what that would mean. And she's got such a good read on that. And obviously with the Dirty Kitten team, and not only the team, but the community, the Dirty Kitten community.
Yes.
She really has an understanding of what's going to make this event special in that respect. And she's going to bring that to the table.
Yep.
She's going to help us move things in the right direction. And it's our hope that it will be something very special.
Yeah.
That people want to come back to. Beautiful gravel, beautiful house, beautiful opportunity for some women to get around and
not with a bunch of bros or dudes.
Right. Not with
they can go the next week.
Not quite as exhausting as being around a bunch of men for a full weekend. It can be exhausting.
Yeah.
So I
get a ride with Alex.
Alex is going to be there, and Chris is going to be there, and I'm going to be there. But we are going to take that sort of, I don't want to call it a backseat role, but we are going to take on a very support-driven role. I'll be a gopher.
Sherpas.
There you go. My co-lead Donna for the trip is a very strong, independent female that is fantastic at leading and inspiring and helping people accomplish big things on a bike, whether you're on a bike or whether you're hiking or whatever it is. She's really, really, really good at helping you get the most out of the experience. So Chris and I are going to step back and be supportive in that, and stay out of the way, so to speak, and let women commune with each other and enjoy a beautiful place in a beautiful part of the country, with some beautiful gravel roads to ride a bike on, and lots of downtime to kind of just relax and reconnect. So excited about that. Then the second week, another drum roll, please. We're going to do a West Virginia takeover of the Pennsylvania Gravel Weekend. Been talking with Travis.
Oh, geez.
Out at Grusk. We're going to do a Grusk prep weekend. It's actually going to end up to be Grusk is Travis and Grusk are going to promote this as a
collabing everywhere.
I'm collabing all over the place. It's how you do it today, Joey. It's how you accomplish things. It's how you make things happen. It's how the magic happens. And you and I are going to collab with the shop. It looks like we're in the very early
collabing.
We're at the very early stages of this, but we're going to do a trip in it's sort of early May that will be just ahead of all this down in Grayson County,
You got
Virginia.
busy, in May.
Yeah, I want to be busy. I want to be busy all the time, doing all the things. But through the Patuxent Adventure Center, they're going to do a collab with Mid-Atlantic GTD. We're going to go from Abingdon all the way along the Virginia Creeper Trail on the Grayson Gravel Traverse. We're going to then connect the Virginia Creeper Trail over to the New River Trail and then ride the New River Trail all the way up to Pulaski, where we will then turn around and shuttle folks back to the start for vehicle retrieval, or it's going to be a collective kind of group thing. It's going to be a unique trip in that it's a tour, obviously, but it is bikepacking oriented. We will be staying at 2 campgrounds. One of the nights we are going to stay in a hotel.
Yes.
And it is going to be completely and totally self-supported, even down to your food's perspective.
Yep.
And we are mapping this out to give restock supply points every 20 to 25 miles. So you don't have to carry a lot of food. We're going to know the route. We're going to be able to tell you where you can get food, what you should carry, how you should carry it. And then we will obviously, as a group, support each other in that. Have you ever been on one of these trips where you go up to the picnic table and 15 different jet boils are smacked down on the table because everybody needs a jet boil to heat water? Well, let's work together and not all carry jet boils, but let's divvy that up. So there's going to be some collective support, and there's also going to be some very independent food supplies that are going to be required. The nice thing about it is this ends up to be a very, very affordable 4-day, 3-night trip. With a short first day and a short last day. So there's plenty of opportunity. We're not going to, there's no camp driving to camp with 75-mile long days.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a 24, 25-mile first day. The big day is the second day, going to be about 54 miles with 5,400 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
That's a big day. That's the night we get to rest in a hotel, and we have plenty of restaurants available for dinner. Then the next day is about 40 miles out to Foster Falls. And then the last day is 24 miles where we're going to finish with lunch in Pulaski. Gives us plenty of time to get everybody back to the start, to Abingdon, to retrieve vehicles. If you've never ridden Virginia Creeper or New River, they are absolutely stunning trails. Absolutely gorgeous. The New River Trail, I have been on that many times, and I'm always amazed at how few people there are that use it. It's just we would go from Galax out to Freeze and then up to Foster Falls and to Pulaski. I've done that probably, I want to say 3 times maybe. And you're right along the New River for the entirety of the trail. Just very remote, very, very rustic. Freeze is a cool little town that you get to go through. Foster Falls is a beautiful campground. And if you choose, the inn is now open at Foster Falls, which is a beautiful old brick building that they've restored as sort of like a hotel kind of B&B kind of thing. So if maybe you really don't want to sleep outside in a tent, that could be an option for you as well. So I'm excited about it. Really, really excited about it. So stay tuned for more information on that. Just so many things happening. So many things are happening. Bikepacking related.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited to get back to the roots of bikepacking. I feel like for a while I'd kind of gotten away from it, simply because of the way things in life roll. But we've kind of sparked it a little bit. I'm excited about it. You? And you're going to be on that trip too.
Well, I can't follow up. You just had a huge Brian segment.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know what to say.
Well, I know that you're planning to come to the
Yeah, that'll be a pack GTD thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I did actually just rant for a while. I apologize.
I don't know what to follow up with.
I
rode my bike with everyone on Saturday using my new Rootworks bag.
It's fun.
I loved it. and I did a bunch of trail work on Sunday that beat me up.
That gray,
Physically, I was pretty tired.
the gray Rootworks bag is really looks
Yeah.
sharp. I like that.
I got the same gray and blue canvas. I'm making little bags for inside that with.
Oh, nice.
Matches, yeah.
Nice. Where'd you find the gray canvas? I guess
Joann's. I got like 5, maybe 8 color swatches of. I got a few square yards each of different colors of canvas.
You've been making little Scratch Labs bags.
I did those too. I did some coffee bean bags. I think once I got those down, I'm going to start some other bike bags, like my versions. Maybe a little half frame bag, some feed bags, or a little roll bag up front.
Nice.
I figured before I wasted the fabric, I got good at what I could.
You were asking me about something on my down tube. What were you planning on doing?
I just like your little cage because I was going to get the B-Rad system from Wolf Tooth, and I thought you had the Morse cage, but it's smaller.
It's Apidura has a cage bag combo that sits on the down tube like that, and I've got that, and I do like that the bag has the stretchy Velcro straps integrated into the bag, and so they can wrap on that. But the bag is so small, I haven't really found a great use for it yet. Maybe if I can find a good use for it.
Yeah.
So far, all I've done is carried my rain jacket in it, which is nice because it gets it out of the way. It's in its own bag. If you should ever need the rain jacket, it can go back in its own bag where it's not going to get everything else wet. So there's something about that. But beyond that, I would say that bag has been, it's been useful in that regard. We can do Strava Club. Let's do Strava Club.
Eli Orth from Cincinnati, Ohio with 150.6. Rob Wheeler from Ohio people.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio with 130.3. And John Gray's on here all the time.
Are you serious?
Chesapeake, Virginia. Yeah, I was joking because my parents' best friend's neighbor's John Gray. The Grays. So John Gray from Chesapeake, Virginia with 144.0. We only needed 110.9. We had good weather part-time last week.
That was up like 8 miles.
Yeah, because Friday and Saturday were great. And we're up to 950 members.
That's like almost 10 new members. I think it's like we were at 941. It's like 9 new members this week.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Just search Gravel Travel Dirt and Strava.
I want to challenge everybody that listens or that has a friend to listen. It says get a friend and join the Strava Club. Push us past that 1,000-mile mark. I'm ready. I'm committed, Joey. I've already stopped shaving. Can you tell yet?
No, it's just a mustache.
Well, do I have to do just a mustache? I got to do everything.
Yeah, I got to cut my beard off and just do a mustache.
Okay.
You got to grow a mustache.
Like I said, I've already started. Can't you tell from over there? My dad used to make fun of me. He's like, you can't grow nothing on your face. All right. Well, that's a good Strava Club. I'm excited about the growth of the Strava Club. So, all right, folks, stick around and listen to somebody
on here
talk about cool bike stuff. Hey, we're really happy to welcome Jeremiah Bishop to the podcast. It is great to have you join us for a conversation. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always fun.
I mean, you're bigger than Mid-Atlantic, but you are like a Mid-Atlantic legend in like multiple aspects.
Yeah.
I know you're like worldwide, but it's pretty cool to finally have you on.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's a awesome place to call home, and I really, I just do what I do. I don't really think a whole lot about the scope of it, but our local riding is fantastic. We've got a great gravel scene, mountain bike scene. I mean, cycling in general.
Yeah.
We just have an awesome area to live, work, and play in, and it's a real blessing to just step back and take a look at all the places I have been able to travel, and but there's no place like home. So
yeah, right. Now, as Joey referenced, you're Virginia. You live in Virginia down near Harrisonburg. But where are you calling us from today, Jeremiah? Where are we talking to you from?
I don't know. To put you on speakerphone to get the exact location. I'm near Shelby, North Carolina. So I am just east of Asheville. Yeah, I was driving late last night. I was trying to squeeze in training. I had lifted weights in the morning and then sorting, packing, and things like that. And then afternoon ride in Roanoke with Mark Krantz, one of my training buddies. And then, heading over to Asheville for a really cool couple meetings and, working on a collaboration with Industry 9. So really excited about that.
Outstanding. Those are good people.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite brands in my shop.
Yeah, Joey has been an
Cool.
Industry 9 advocate for a very, very long time. In fact, you roll some of their wheels, right? Doesn't Jess have some wheels? Yeah.
Great.
You're from Harrisonburg. That gravel and mountain bike scene in that part of Virginia is pretty on point. Did you grow up there?
I grew up in Baltimore County and moved out to Harrisonburg, some 25 years ago. Yeah, I mean, training for high level cycling, I mean, it's tough to do if you're in a really dense urban population.
Sure.
And, Baltimore County, Columbia area, like right between two major cities is it's a tough place to do as much riding as I was doing. That and the cycling scene in Harrisonburg's fun. It's got fantastic terrain to work with, good mountains to do intervals on, and awesome trails. George Washington National Forest is massive. So the type of amount of riding, you have to be able to entertain yourself a bit and be able to really look forward to riding every day. I mean, if you're going to go and ride for another 5-hour ride, then helps if you have something to look forward to. And it's for sure a playground, but also a really cool place to call home. We've got cool breweries and coffee shops, and a great cycling scene, great people. And it's really the people. That's part of why I moved there, was just the vibe there is really it's really welcoming, and there's a lot of community events, Shenandoah Valley Bicycle Coalition, underground events like Tour de Berg, Harris-Roubaix, which comes up every spring, and gravel grinders that a lot of people probably don't know about it, but it's a free event hosted by the club, but it's been going on for almost 30 years.
Wow. So you've been there 25 years. How have you seen Harrisonburg change in the bike culture?
Well, I'd say there's just more groups. I think at first there were sort of like two groups. There was the Shenandoah Valley, like the road club, and then there was the mountain bike club. I don't know. There were fewer subcircles, and now there's like the commuters and sort of Nick Waite's crew with Alley Cats, and I don't know. He runs Giddy Up Courier, which is a courier company. They do a lot of deliveries of all sorts, a lot of food deliveries. I mean, it's like, it's kind of blossoming into these different clover leaves. And now Lauf, their global distribution outside of Europe is based in Harrisonburg, just a mile and a half down the street. So they've got assembly facility there. And it's kind of becoming a little bit more horizontal. There's more stuff going on. There's the bike park at Massanutten and the bike park at Bryce, the Stokesville campground and lodge and races.
Love it there. Yeah.
There's just some more stuff going on.
It's just as interesting that gravel is sort of, I guess, right now at the point in time where it's the thing that mountain bike that's keeping the bike industry sort of in the game. And if you've been there 25 years, and I guess it's about a 10-year window for the quote-unquote gravel scene to have evolved, I can imagine that folks in Harrisonburg were like, well, we've been doing this gravel thing for, for a while now. Welcome to the party, y'all.
That's why I kind of was a little resistant to the, mainstream, adoption of it. I don't know. I mean, it's not like you're inventing a new sport. Like, everybody's like...
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's like welcome to the party, friends. It's good over here. Come on.
It's a little funny. Yeah, it's a little funny because
that's where it comes from.
We just been riding bikes. Yeah, we just ride bikes in all terrain, and
everybody says every bike is a gravel bike, and I think that comes from that mindset. It's like, why do you need something special to come do this? Just do it, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, the new bikes are also awesome. I mean, it's really neat to have very specific equipment that is good for it. I mean, before we would be doing the Harris-Roubaix, and I remember doing it on my cyclocross tubulars, and I put some road, some fat, skinny, Tufo, Grifo cross tires on, put it on the road bike, barely clear, but it was the bomb. In fact, I think that for gravel, tubulars, Yeah, just incredible. I mean, like, it's just impractical for how the races usually play out with multiple flats. And but yeah, I mean, we've been doing it a long time for sure. And it's just a evolution of cycling popularity. Certain time frames you'll have, certain things become in vogue, and like road racing was in vogue for quite a while. And here prior to that, it kind of cycles. During the Greg LeMond era, it was road cycling again, and it was mountain biking in the late 80s, early 90s. Now it's gravel cycling. Who knows will be next? Maybe cross country mountain biking will come back into vogue. I don't know. It's due if you kind of look at it.
Well, it's nice to see. I mean, if you go all the way to the top tier of everyone, all I would consider the more well-rounded cyclists are doing every aspect of it. Your Vanderpoels, your Pidcocks, like they're not just doing one thing. And it trickles down, and not like the bottom people are looking at that, but when they, I don't know, I think it's cool the evolution of it.
Yeah, I had few goals when I was like in my 20s, other than to be really well-rounded as a racer. So I wanted to race the pro level. I didn't know how or if I could even make it. Yeah, I mean, you never know how far you can go with it.
Yeah.
But one of my big priorities was to become a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And that takes and develops a lot of skills, abilities that you can bring back into your main discipline. And for me, that ended up being cross-country mountain biking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I just like to ride, and adventure riding really is like that's really my like happy place. And if it's adventure riding on the road bike, then that's cool. But once you get off road and off pavement, then it really starts to get wild, and you can go and hit crazy stuff. Like
the vibe changes. The whole vibe of the adventure changes when you get sort of outside of that. Because hardtop seems to connect places to places to places, and gravel and off road and trails seem to be devised, and
it connects the roots to the leaves.
Yeah, exactly. Going back, I always love to ask this question. Do you have any like early childhood bike memories, or maybe something? What sparked your lifelong passion for this?
It's funny. I just thought back to a couple early bike rides. My first adventure bike ride, like, not in the like city park, or not in my neighborhood, or not riding downstairs, was I had gotten this beat up old like frame from a friend. It was like a 10-speed road bike frame, and they had these hybrid conversion kits, because hybrid was, that was a thing. And you could convert a road bike into a hybrid bike and put some semi-knobby tires on it. I mean, my first bike was this spray painted black, cobbled together Franken bike. I mean, literally, it was a flat bar gravel bike. And I remember we went a few of my friends had gotten some early mountain bikes. One had a Trek Antelope, like a pretty good mountain bike at the time. And we went to Soldier's Delight, which is environmental area, Pine Barren, near Liberty Reservoir in Reisterstown. And like, we went mountain biking, basically, is what we were doing. We were going and checking out these trails and trying to ride down these hills. I had no brakes, tiny ass tires. And I remember just, someone with good brakes at the front stopped. I just like careened right into them, crashed, fell over, scraped my knee up. Bike goes over my head, cartwheels. I get up, we're laughing. Then we race around through the trails and, going as fast as we can, just testing each other. And that was a blast. It was really awesome.
That's cool.
And it was just like the big, it was the potpourri of kids in my neighborhood, growing up in suburban Baltimore County. It was just like, one kid had a BMX bike, one kid had, I had, the shittiest bike of everybody. And, we were of all ethnic backgrounds. We were just having a blast, having fun in the woods, getting lost, on an adventure,
And nobody cared about what kind of bike you're riding or what kind of thing you're doing. It was just you were out there doing it and having fun. And
exactly.
Man, that's one of the things I think from my perspective is that gravel brings back. You go to events like Hush Money's their fall event. There's nothing serious about that. Everybody's just out there on a bike having a good time. Who cares what you're doing? dress up in a costume, just go have fun. You know, that's what I
Exactly.
love. That's what I love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun first, you know, and I've been privy to like sort of the evolution of gravel. I've even done some consulting with some companies that, you know, are kind of like trying to get into the gravel space or get a piece of the gravel pie. Of course, you know, that's they're in business. They're in business. Gravel pie. That's going to be at the the spring gravel ride. I'm going to host a spring gravel ride in May.
I just did a sticker that's a whoopie pie with gravel all in it, like mixed inside of it. And now I wish I'd done a gravel pie. That sounds
The graphic is really good. You know, you got the fork in there.
Yeah.
It's just got like a nice crust and like a deep, dark, rich.
You could do a Rodeo Lab sport digging into a gravel pie. Oh, I'm gonna cut
that's it.
I'm gonna cut this part out.
That's what we'll do for the Shenandoah Graveler. The Shenandoah Graveler. We'll have gravel pie at the finish line.
I like it. I like it a lot. If you get the piece that's actually got gravel in it, then like the little king baby they put into the Mardi Gras cakes. You get the piece that's actually got a rock in it. You win. Hey, let's talk a minute about impossible routes. What's in the future for impossible routes? I love the series, by the way. Fantastic.
Thank
so
you.
much fun.
Like it's a whole different level of motivation.
Oh yeah. What's in the future for it?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. You know, I think we're having a real exciting and sort of climactic episode just about to come out, which is the Death Road in Bolivia.
Okay.
That was a traumatizing shoot. It also absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It was really, really visceral, and you know, I think the emotion in the episode is one that's like, you know, the kind of thing you can't script. You know, it's the kind of stuff where like, you know, it's just the real attention, elation, all those emotions. And I think that's one of the neat things. You know, you get some of these documentaries, and yeah, I mean, I love a good adventure as much as anyone. But if it's kind of slow going, like, you know, riding through pretty terrain, then it's, I think, two-dimensional. And I think, you know, the neat thing is that with the impossible routes, Tyler and I have been able to really like play off of our personal relationship and difference. And, you know, we're both like, I mean,
well, you got great chemistry in hard places and doing difficult things.
Thanks. It's not always easy. You know, I won't say it's an easy thing to do, but it's also like, hey, this has kind of been really neat. It's been a real evolution. Right. And I think moving forward, I personally want to take the brand to a place where it's, again, evolving.
Right.
And we can tell some more stories. We can have other people take the mic, as it were, and tell their stories. We could even host other people's content, because the impossible route does not need to be a bicycle route. So just a little hint there.
Yeah.
So the impossible route could be Jason Hardrath taking on running the highest 100 peaks in the Rockies.
Ooh.
Nonstop.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
I see where you're
The
going with that.
impossible route could be a multi-pitch adventure. You know, it could be a real exciting, you know, like Arizona Trail Race. Here's a really good example of an episode I thought, hey, this would be kind of cool. Something like this. Maybe not the Arizona Trail, but just a little background. Bikes are not allowed in the national park there at Grand Canyon National Park. They are actually making a little bit of headway in a couple other national parks. But that particular park, you have to pack your bike. You load it up onto a frame pack. You know, you hike down the Grand Canyon, thousands of feet, cross the river, and then you have to hike with your bike and poles all the way up the other side. So it's like this really wicked way to start a big, long effort. And that's really a multi-sport type of event. You know, it's like, it's just thinking outside the box. That's all.
Even once you get out the other side, the Arizona Trail itself is not an easy endeavor.
No.
Once you've packed the bike all the way through the canyon, it's not. I've ridden a little bit of the Arizona Trail on the north side,
cool.
up in Kaibab, and it's the real deal. It's the real, and you're out there. You're out there at 9,000 feet too. It'll get you. It'll get you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, incidentally, my neighbor Abe Kaufman. So I mean, like I kind of joke I'm the second fastest guy in New York Avenue when it comes to the ultra endurance stuff. So it's really funny. Abe Kaufman, look him up. You know, he has the fastest no time on the Mastodon Ring.
Okay.
He won Trans North Georgia last year, 4th at Tour Divide. He has the course record for the Arkansas High Country race, and he's taking on the Arizona Trail next year and Colorado Trail FKTs. Yeah, he's really good.
Okay.
He's really good, and you know, I'm a little faster on the top end, but you know, he's got this sleep deprivation game down. Like, I cannot touch these guys that can operate on 2 hours of sleep a day. It's
I
just
don't
not
know how they do it. I would literally be. I couldn't do it. I could not go without my sleep, even if I'm not actually sleeping. Sometimes in a tent, you know, you kind of like roll around and you bounce around, and you're up every hour, an hour and a half, or 2 hours, but you're still resting at the same time. You're still resting. You watch some of these folks.
I'd love to see. Well, you know, what's it called? Trans Pyrenees, I think. It has like some sort of rules. It was sort of a little complicated though. Something like for every 30 hours of sleep, you need to log 4 hours, like a truck driver.
It's like a trucker, yeah.
Logbook.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
for
got
every
your-
30 hours of riding, you need to log 4 hours of rest. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I like that.
That's not bad.
I couldn't do it.
That's still a lot of freaking riding for
Yes, it
not a
is.
lot of rest. See, I got like the different. I got the vacation version. I want to do the Rockstar, where you stop at resorts and take a day off between each ride.
the anti-impossible route.
So
Yeah, the possible route. Where you've got gravel pie at each stop.
oh yeah,
You know, fried chicken,
Speaking my language.
homemade cornbread. Yes. Well, there's sort of two speeds for me. People don't get it. It's like I really love just to, you know, to chill and enjoy like the atmosphere and places that I ride to. And part of the real conundrum for me is like, as a racer, your job is to keep your head down
Right.
and focus on a pinpoint in the distance, which is the finish, and the rest of it is in your way.
Right.
And that's really not me. Like, I think a little bit different than a lot of bike racers in that I really enjoy being in the places that I'm at. And of course, the longer you stay at the middle of the course, the worse your results are.
Yeah.
So it's sort of you know, two sides of me, but I seem to balance it out pretty well with some very, very slow walks and trail work where you're going 0 miles per hour. Yeah, man, time that not going anywhere fast.
What was so my favorite impossible one was the Appalachian one, probably because I guess it was so close to home.
Cool.
What was?
Well, guess what?
Well, I said, what was yours?
Well, that one was really special because there's a lot of story.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the challenges is that, you know, the way we've done this in the past is Tyler does the edit and, you know, really doesn't let me touch the edit. It's like, okay, well, you did the route, the episode, the concept, the casting, you know, logistics, etc. But then the edit is pretty much like all on his plate. And so that's a challenge because when I write the episode, I'm writing about, you know, the incredible engineering feat that it was to create this road across Appalachia, you know, through the tunnel. These were engineering marvels during the time. The world's longest hand-built tunnel, engineered by Claudius Crozet, deemed impossible. But Crozet, you know, who had trained in Europe, you know, he was, an engineer in France, knew it could be done. And anyway, there's just a lot of backstory that got lost on that, which, you know, it's really interesting. I read several books, you know, on the Blue Ridge Railroad, Blue Ridge Tunnel, Stanton and Parkersburg Turnpike. I'd hoped we'd stop at the museum in Beverly. I talked to the curator of the museum. I mean, I researched that episode for at least a year and a half. Wow. And then it's like, bam, 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 ride. And then, you know, Travis's knee issue. Yeah. I mean, the whole like story just didn't even, you know, go like it we thought it would. But that's, you know, that's okay. That's all right. Because we could do a behind the scenes. I could do a behind the scenes episode, you know, put a lot of that info into it. And interestingly, I am working on a public tour for Trans Appalachia. So this is a really nice segue.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought, so much was missed. We didn't stop at the toll houses. We were trying to get across the mountains and trying to film, and it was also kind of condensed. Trying to do that in 3 days is ridiculous, with $40. But trying to do it in 4 days, that's like 90 miles a day. And there's some really awesome places to stop along the way. So really excited about that. That's going to be coming up in May. So looking at May 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Let me check those dates to confirm. Speakerphone so I can look at my calendar. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a fun touring opportunity. We'll have some spirited bike games involved in that. I'm sure some people will want to go hard on a couple climbs, and we'll have the Lantern Rouge, I'm sure. But yeah, it's going to be really neat. I think it's the kind of thing that just I have to do it. It's just too cool not to share.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I really thought when I was putting together some of these routes that people would go and ride them. Everybody talks about how they want to ride them, but then I don't see anybody going and doing it. And I think part of that's because they're out there,
Yeah.
The logistics of riding in the National Radio Quiet Zone deep in West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something to consider.
Yeah.
It's not something everyone feels comfortable doing. So, hey, I think this would be a really fun project.
Would you do that as supported? Would it be
Absolutely.
You're loaded? You're not loaded. Okay, you're not loaded. You're
Nope.
riding supported. Nice.
We're fully supported. So, I mean, you'll want to have like a burrito bag, to have your snacks in, to put your jacket in. And, I think the idea is that you are going to be, away from the support for sections, for good sections. But, yeah, I think it's really just opening up the opportunity to do it. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong when you're doing a point-to-point.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get to the start? Well, I don't know. I drop my car off, and then we'll have to drive across 2 states to go get it. Like that's the kind of stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But because I had to do the logistics for every route. I have it all. I basically built it all out already. So it's a shame that folks can't go and enjoy it. And so it's going to be really fun. Collaboration, and just getting the details ironed out as far as where we're staying. A friend of mine just opened up a bed and breakfast in Monterey, and it's really, really cool.
Nice.
So in the middle of the route, right on the Stanton and Parkersburg Turnpike, there is a beautiful Victorian house that Paul, one of the guys that rides the Grand Fondo, has bought and refurbished, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
You see, that's fantastic, because you're seeing bikes impact local economy, and you're also seeing local economy coming around to support bikes. And it all comes from people like you putting like routes out there and making opportunities. And that's fantastic. It's just so good to see. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see bikes valued and in that way. Speaking of valued, what is, when you do an impossible route, what's your most valued piece of gear that you carry that you probably don't need? That thing that little comfort thing. What is it? Is there anything?
Yeah.
Most people say coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got these little coffee, a little like they have little like tea bag satchels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some counterculture. Like they sent me a whole bunch of these like camping coffee things.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, it's a favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to just get your jet boil out, boil some water. But I've literally stopped at the side of a big ass, impossible route and said, I've been riding for like 8 hours non-stop.
Right.
We're going to chill here. We're going to have a snack and, making a hot coffee while you're looking at the Joshua trees. That's pretty daggone sweet.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible. I can't lie that those are the kind of things that I really get a kick out of. There's sort of it's sort of a game to be comfortable in uncomfortable environments. And I think that's a big part of it. I always the one thing I really found that surprised me that I don't need normally. Like I go and ride, never need it. I don't need it at all until I do an impossible route. But when I do an impossible route, I absolutely need it. Is chapstick.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know if it's UV light or whatever, just cooking your face
Mm-hmm.
or drinking the bottle, having a salty snacks, or I don't know what it is, but my lips are just rocked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. That's
The cool
something
thing is
that
you can use it on your knuckles. And here's the other thing. Yeah, so if you run out of chain lube, you can even use the chapstick on your chain lube. Yeah, it's really that I'd say safety pins
okay.
are pretty clutch. Zip ties, safety pins, and the Gorilla Tape.
Those things those are all those things you hope you don't need.
Yeah.
Hope you don't need them. Yeah, and tooth floss and
Okay.
a needle.
Yeah, to stitch up some sidewalls should the need arise. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because the orange seal will seal some pretty big holes. I've actually been able to run tubeless after sewing a tire.
Oh,
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. That's super. Do you add anything to your orange shield? Do you throw glitter? Do you throw anything in there with it?
No.
Not at all. Nice.
No, I don't. Yeah, but I think for larger holes like that, it definitely helps to have a little backing.
Yeah.
So, you might just take that little fibery bit from your used coffee bag or some tape
That's a good
or
idea. Yeah.
whatever, just something, that it can adhere to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been really pretty lucky with mechanicals and impossible routes. It's been,
I was watching Larry and I are talking about doing Divide in 2025, so I've been watching a lot of Divide videos, and I watched this one. The dude was literally 40 miles in, and slashed a tire and had to ride the entire rest of the thing with this big light gate. But he sewed it up and sealed it up and good to go, and got the rest of the way.
Cool.
So get out there and do it. It's there. It's there. So, what can we look ahead for in 2024? And how do you approach building a schedule for a year? How far out do you go with your planning?
It's interesting because I think, and this is probably a good thing to share, is if it were up to what I could actually feel comfortable in planning,
Mm-hmm.
there wouldn't be no plans. There would not even be any plans.
Right.
Nothing would ever happen, to be honest, because we don't have the money. Well, okay, well, I guess we're not going to do it. Well, we don't have promise that outside TV is going to pick it up. Well, we don't have viewership. So what do the sponsors want? They want viewership. Okay, so now we don't have any sponsors. So if that was our mode of operation, it would have never gotten off the ground in the first place. When I first came to Canyon and said, hey, I got this idea. We want to climb Mauna Kea. We're going to film it. It's going to be the world's toughest hill climb. Absolutely crazy. We're going to produce a YouTube documentary, short film about it, and it's going to be pretty freaking wild. It's going to be awesome. And it's kind of like, all right, well, sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I put the whole thing on my credit card. I was like, you know what? I'm doing it, and it's going to happen. I'm making this happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do out there. You have to go and you have to commit.
Yeah.
You have to commit, because if you wait for the perfect time,
Never gonna happen.
you get hit by a bus in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to go now. And if
Yeah.
you've got something that is on your like, if it's going to make you happy to go do, or you're going to regret not doing it, then you better go do it now, because I've seen too many real life lessons of dreams unfulfilled, and a lot of the times it's just because there's uncertainty or fear, and I think the impossible route's really one of the things that I think is most profound and most impactful for me, to keeping on going and keeping doing all these episodes that we've done in the last few years, is that it inspires people. It makes them rethink their limits. It makes them step outside, join group rides, get into training, pick a route, make a goal, stick with it, and that process makes you better.
Yeah.
So at the end of every impossible route, we'd have like a motivational quote or inspirational quote, that talks about redefining your limits or, um, tackling your fears. For example, the West Texas episode. Yeah, I don't know. It just came to me like some sort of epiphany in the middle of the freaking desert. It was like I was really scared of that episode. I've never ridden
Really?
that far all at once, and the sleep deprivation was an issue. It was going to be cold as hell at night, hot in the daytime. I didn't even know if the route connected, and you also have put out $20,000 to $25,000 to shoot the thing. And what if the film crew gets lost? As soon as I clipped in, it all went away.
Yeah.
We went up the first hill and the sun was rising and just scattering these golden rays across the desert.
All right.
And I was like, hot damn, we're out here. This is awesome.
There is something magical about that moment that you become completely and totally self and bike reliant.
Yeah.
Any kind of a trip, there's like that checkout point. And I understand what you're saying. There's lots of angst kind of leading up to that point, and then it almost feels like as soon as that happens, it's like you're free. You've been freed from this, like, I don't want to get all philosophical up in here, but
free from the constructs of politics, of capitalist built society, of this sort of
expectations, all that.
Expectations that if you're not working, you're lazy.
Yeah,
it's like we have this the social construct and the construct of modern day life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you put on your bike, it's you and the ground and a destination. And it's just really, really liberating. It's fantastic. It's self-empowering. There's so much value to it, and that's really been one of the fun things is to see the notes, to get the comments, to have people reach out that are coming back from cancer or had a kid or whatever challenges are in their lives.
Right.
They are stepping up and they are, making their life a priority and doing cool stuff. So it's been really, really cool and excited to tell some more stories, and definitely in the regrouping period right now, just getting everything organized and planned. And of the 12 episodes that I've written, I mean, we might shoot 3 of them. Like that's just how it goes for either feasibility. Honestly, like if we had a better revenue model with the impossible routes and everybody that watched it paid $5, then we'd have no problem shooting a lot of really rad shit.
YouTube is shifting. It's the longer format stuff that you're producing that is they're trying to drive people to. So you're on the right. I'm excited to hear there's a future for impossible routes. And I'm excited to hear that it's something different. Yeah.
It's neat because my thought on it was it's not so much about the route. It's a lot about the route, but it's also is equally about the mental frame of possibilities. That is the infinite space for growth, and we all have those struggles, we all have those doubts, we all have the wondering, hey, maybe I shouldn't have signed up for a 200-mile bike race. What the fuck am I thinking?
What was I thinking? What was I thinking when I did that? So
it's important to to keep on doing what we do. It might take a little bit of different form. Tyler, he's going to be working on a lot of his projects this year.
Okay.
We might have a reunion episode end of this year or beginning of next year. But really, it's going to be a challenge, but hey, that's how we got here in the first place. Making some cool stuff happen, and excited to see what's next.
So none of this happens without the support of family and sponsors. How do you balance this personal life versus the bike life?
That's an important aspect. So my wife just came back from a girls' weekend in Mexico. I was washing the dishes and sending the kids off to school and trying to answer emails, and then, oh, it's time to take the dog out. And, it's like, yeah, you have to just keep it in perspective. And, Erin has been my partner and teammate, my wife, in developing a lot of these business projects. She runs the Alpine Loop Gran Fondo entirely.
Oh, wow.
Which is it's really kind of a mixed road or all road event. We've had some pretty chunky gravel in it at times. But it's just about being cognizant that
There's balance required.
There's effort being put in. The kids are also like, dad's not home when I'm on a big trip. So I make sure to have, quality dad time and really lock in and do fun stuff, and, go bowling and go to the Ruby's Arcade, or, take them out and doing fun stuff.
You know what I think about often, and probably more often than I should have, is the fact that, as a content creator, you're putting yourself out there, but you're putting yourself out there for future generations as well. I kind of get a little jibe out of like knowing that at some point after I'm gone, my kids and my grandkids could actually have the opportunity to go back to listen to me or see me do adventurous things. I think there's a legacy aspect that's involved as well.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think it's something nice just to be able to share what's important to you. And I think it's also commonly important to some other people as well. Of course, that within the cycling space, but it's definitely crossed my mind for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Because so much of what I've done has been just on the racetrack. I mean, it's been incredible, insane moments, near misses, crashes, big race wins, but a lot of it was never captured. None of it was documented. I wouldn't want to carry an extra 100-gram GoPro during the World Cup mountain bike race.
No, not at all. That's somebody else's job at that point to film all that magic.
Yeah.
So
no, I wish I had. I wish I had. The cameras just weren't good before.
Right.
The cameras were good, and then now, like, the cameras are so good. I mean, I could literally film an impossible route on my iPhone. That's how good the cameras are.
Truth.
It's really wild. Like, and the more I know about storytelling and this sort of genre, is like it's all about the substance. It's about the story. It's about the stuff that happens more than anything else. In fact, I think it's a nice idea. I think we should do like a 12-minute submission, a contest to win a free set of i9 wheels. I'm talking way out of my lane here.
I heard an offer.
12-minute submissions. We'll take in a bunch of submissions for the Impossible Route channel, but we'll have an iPhone or smartphone only.
Nice.
Like, how cool would that be?
That would be very cool.
It says, hey, you don't need equipment. You don't need to go crazy with it. You just need some fun angles.
Yeah.
Stage your camera, get your friend to hold your camera here and there. But document an adventure, that's meaningful and it has some story to you. Because like that's really the stuff that I like. I like when there's some sort of like substance to it, like riding to your where your great grandparents were farmsteading out in the middle of nowhere, or riding from Philly to Baltimore, where you grew up, or whatever it is. I think just having like some vignettes of like different and interesting stories.
Yeah.
Single camera is hard to do too. It's difficult. You only have that.
But it's kind of equalizing, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the neat thing is there's a Super 8 film festival in Harrisonburg, and I went to it, because it's kind of like a groovy artisty type thing to do. Anyway, and I thought it'd be neat to check out these short films, but the rule is there's zero editing allowed. So you shoot it on this 8mm film, one roll of film, and like you basically run the camera and you pause the camera, and that's your shot.
That's
and
interesting.
You make a short film.
That actually is pretty cool. That's really cool. I'd like to
Really
see
neat.
some of that.
Really wild stuff, and some of it's really just like, whoa! I think I'm putting the beer down.
Yeah.
But like, it's really a neat exercise, and so like, that forces people to think about what they're going to shoot, how they're going to frame it, and I mean, you might see it in the impossible routes. And Tyler's got some really good artistic eye for some of his shot framing and some of his composition and technique, and everything from color grading to filters to B-roll to action, emotion, all those things. There was me drinking through the fire hose to learn that stuff, obviously, on the bikes. But, no, it's been fun. It's been really fun project, and looking forward to a big race year as well. So stoked to get out to Mid-South, be out there with some of the sponsors. Tofosi's going to be out there. I-9, I think, is going to be out there. I don't know if Canyon will be out there. But yeah, it's going to be really good, fun time. Meet up with some of the folks at Flow Formulas. I think they'll be out at Leadville, Sea Otter, BWR Asheville. So those are some of the fun ones. And then I'd like to get in a Pisgah stage race or a good old mountain bike race here or there too. And pretty excited about the kick off the season here in a couple weeks with Monster Cross. It's like the first race of the Virginia Mountain Bike Series, or Virginia Gravel Series.
We're going to be at Monster Cross this year. Let's make sure to say hello. Any other?
I'm making a coffee from the Jet Boil.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Any other sponsors to give a shout out to? Anybody that didn't make the cut yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've had fantastic long running sponsors with Ergon and Tofosi's newer last couple years. Orange Seal, of course, I've mentioned. Flow Formulas. I'm sure I'm missing somebody.
Cool.
But yeah, it's been really fantastic and awesome to have the support to help go and take on the possible, the fast, and the impossible.
Well, listen, Jeremiah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us and chat. You got a few more minutes to stick around for some of this or that?
Yeah. So also Almost There is another sponsor that we've had for several years, and I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention IRC Tires. I've been a long-term sponsor for the last 3 years. So there we go. Got it.
So if you've listened, and I think you have at least a couple of episodes, this or that, you're our guest. So I'm going to give you the first opportunity to answer, and you can explain yourself or not. I'll go next, and then Joey. First item up on this week's This or That: hot, spicy food or comfort food?
Is Indian food both?
It could be. I guess there could be crossover, couldn't there? There definitely could be crossover.
For sure.
I'm going to go straight up comfort food. The spicy food doesn't do it for me. Joey, I know what your answer is going to be.
No, I'm gonna cross over to like Nashville hot chicken, because fried chicken's a comfort food, I think.
But also you get it hot. Okay, well,
and you get spicy. I love spicy, but
I will deem this a this or that fail, because I did not come.
Yeah, so two of us just
that could be together. Okay, second item: a gravel bike. Let's say 38s. A gravel bike running 38s in deep snow, or a fat bike on hardtop?
Ooh, definitely gravel bike.
Gravel bike in the deep snow. Nice.
Yep.
More adventure. That worries me. I don't think my bike handling skills are quite up to par. So I'm gonna stick with that fat bike on a hardtop, and I don't care about going slow. Joey.
I don't hate fat bikes, but I have no desire.
No desire.
I would rather take the 38s in the snow.
Okay,
It'd be more fun.
Right on. Third one: croissant or biscuit?
Croissant.
Oh, me all day a croissant. The fluffy, flaky croissant. Absolutely, Joey.
I've been craving croissants for a while. We don't have a good bakery around here.
No, we do not.
Good bakeries sometimes have really good biscuits.
Biscuits are always
switches for me. Switches.
They're a crapshoot with the biscuit. You could get the nice, soft.
I've had some really good biscuits.
Really good, and then you could get one
Mary's.
that's like a brick.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That'd be tough. I think cycling. I think I'd like a nice croissant on a ride.
Yeah. Little chocolate croissant, stuff it in your jersey pocket, let it heat up a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last item: encounter Bigfoot or a grizzly bear.
Lovely. I'm going with Bigfoot.
I'm going with Bigfoot all day long. He's like, he would like offer you jerky. That's what the commercials say he does, right? Grizzly bear scares me half to death. I don't think I saw one the other day. Not saw one, but a little video thing on one the other day. They are massive. You just don't think how big they are. We're used to seeing black bears, but
We saw one at Glacier to Teton. It scared the hell out of us.
Yeah.
Joey.
I've actually been Bigfoot hunting before.
Yeah.
Like we spent time out in Oregon and we went riding into the backcountry.
Yeah. Did you see him?
No. I think it'd be cool. I'd want to hang out with I don't know. You're not going to hang out with Bigfoot, but
I think you might hang out with Bigfoot.
we had that discussion last week at the shop if Bigfoot was real, and there's still some unknowns.
There's a lot of unknowns. The whole world's full of unknowns. Let's go explore it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, one more time, thank you, brother, for joining us. It has been fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you at Monster Cross, and thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I look forward to a little after party hangout at Monster Cross.
Right on.
So I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I can get the ABC permit for in park beer, but I definitely have a hang at the truck.
That's what solo cups are for.
The food was pretty good last year there.
Okay, folks.
All right, well, thanks for having me, and we'll see you soon.
Right on, brother.
Thanks.
It is about time to shut down. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you've enjoyed the podcast, maybe consider jumping on our Patreon family. We really do appreciate that support. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us real quick?
GravelTravelDirt.com and Mid-Atlantic GTD or at Monster Cross.
Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded one more time live from the Patuxent Adventure Center here in Solomons, all the way down to some little town near Asheville in North Carolina. Thanks for riding along. Till next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.